Buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos a otro episodio de the Lincoln Center Pop-Up Classroom. My name is Damian Quiñones and I'm a musician and visual artist. Mi nombre es Damian y soy un músico y artista visual. And I would like to welcome you again to another episode. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode. And these have been a lot of fun and I'm happy to spend this time with you. Los invitamos a todos a participar y comentar en nuestra página. Adultos, por favor, ayuden a nuestros participantes más jóvenes a dejar comentario. So for the families that are watching, the adults, if your young person wants to make a comment or a contribution, maybe showing a drawing or something that they thought of during the time that we're together, please go to the comment section, help them along so that they could be part of what's happening in real time. Okay, so again, hope you enjoyed yesterday's workshop. And if you like what you see also, please share us with your friends. Let everyone know that we're doing this. This is a weekly thing and it's a really good time. I've been really digging it myself. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. You might be asking yourself, Damian, where are the musical instruments? I thought this was a music thing. Well, guess what? It is. So we're going to be experiencing music a little bit differently than what we've been doing together in recent times. So this is my little cajon guy here who's going to be acting as a, well, this is where the musical instruments are actually kind of hidden under these other things. So this fellow here is going to help me do some drawing today. So what we're going to do is we're going to be notating and documenting our listening experience through visual art. So what does that mean? In a nutshell, we're going to draw what we hear as we hear it. Vamos a dibujar lo que escuchamos mientras los escuchamos. So you may have done this before. This might be something that you do that maybe you don't even realize that you do, which is drawing and making visual art while listening to music. Certainly, it's something that sound is something that invades our space constantly. It's one of the senses that we really can't avoid. That's why you can hear the fire department behind me and cars behind me outside in the street. Okay, because unless you decide to stick your fingers in your ears, it's almost impossible to avoid sound. Okay, you can close your eyes and not look at something, right? You can choose not to move your body, but it's very hard to try to cover up sound. So we're going to embrace that, and we're going to take the sounds that we're hearing, and we're going to try to use it to make a drawing and interpret the sound through the drawing. So this is what you'll need for today. Esto es lo que vas a necesitar para hoy. You're going to need some pens or pencils, or if you have some markers, I have a bunch of markers that I found in my art room. You could use a pencil, you could use pens, some paper. Today I'm going to be using some of these index cards here, and we have some paper here. And actually that's about it for right now. Okay, so what I want to do is this. I want to do a little warm-up. We're going to loosen our drawing hand and we're going to awaken our ears a bit. I'm going to put on a little bit of music, and for the duration of the song, I want you to take one of these drawing tools. It could be a marker, a crayon, a pen, like I said, and I want you to draw on the page until the music stops. Again, if you don't have paper at home, you might have an old envelope that you can cut open and use that. You could use a box. Sometimes I've even cut open a cereal box and I've opened it up, and all of a sudden, voila, I have this giant piece of paper that I can work on. Okay. Before I put on the music, I want to encourage you to listen to the music for a few seconds. Try to internalize it, maybe move your body to it, and then take what lines or colors you might use for those sounds. Okay, so again, if you have a lot of different colors, you might want to think about it after you've heard it moved around to it, and you're going to grab it and just go with it. Okay, so we're going to go a little fast on this first one, but as we move along, we'll have a little bit more time. Okay, so vamos a escuchar la música y mover nuestros lápices o la página a los que estamos escuchando. Okay, so vamos a hacerlo. Let's get started. So I'm going to play you a little music that I prepared for us today. I'm just going to randomly grab one. Here we go. And we're going to stop right there. So that wasn't a whole lot of time, but we like to move fast around here. Let's take a look at this. So you might say to yourself, Damian, I'm not the best drawer or something like that. Let's just throw that idea out the window because we're being playful with this, okay? And there's no such thing as a best drawer. It's what you have to offer at that moment. And what I had to offer at this moment was this. So I'm going to look at mine. Maybe you could look at yours. And this is the drawing that I did. It's very squiggly. Okay, so a couple of things. What instruments did you notice in the music that I just played? ¿Qué instrumento notaste? ¿Y qué parte de la música enfocaste tu oído? What part of the music did you focus your ear on? ¿Qué tipo de líneas hiciste? What kind of lines did you do? You can see I did squiggly lines. And how would you describe the sound of the instrument? So for me, I kind of just went on the general groove of the music and I just kind of let my body be free because it's a warm-up. All right? So I think whatever you have probably is a good indication of just how free you could let your hands. So we're going to just let ourselves be free. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this away for right now. It's going to go under my friend the cajon. Thanks, buddy. And we're going to move on to the next part. Okay? Now that we've done a little warm-up, let's do a little drawing that's a little bit longer time-wise. We're going to listen to the same song, but this time we're going to make some informed choices about how we're going to draw the sound. All right, what does that mean? That means that we're going to look at our tools. So I have, not all these markers are the same. They're kind of all mismatched. So some of them have a finer point than others, like this one, for instance. You can see that. Sharpie. These things are, maybe I'll put it over, you can see it better. Well, I can't tell my left from right on this thing, but anyways, so you can see it has a little bit of a finer point. This one has also a fine point. It's a little bit thicker. Put it towards the light. And then I have a whole wide variety of different ones in colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about a sound that I heard in the song. And I'm going to pick on one instrument or one sound. Okay, I could also pick on a rhythm as well. But let's, for right now, let's just focus on an instrument. So one of the instruments that I noticed in my recording was a bass. The bass sounded really fat to me, had a really thick sound. So maybe I'll use a thick marker. Let me see what I got here. All right, well, this marker has actually the thickest tip, so I think I'm going to use that. And coincidentally, it's brown, and I was going to say that the base had kind of like, if I were to pick a color for it, I think it would be kind of brown to me. So when I play this music again, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to listen really carefully, and I'm going to move my hand to what the bass is doing. Okay, here we go. Start from the top. All right. So that is my bass sound. That is my interpretation of the fat sound that I was hearing. What sound did you pick? What was the sound that you heard in there that you might have focused your ear on? And what kind of line did you make for it? Maybe you chose a certain color. I chose brown, and I chose the one with the thickest tip, although it might not seem that way compared to some of these other ones, but you wouldn't know. So I use the thickest tip. I use this brown color, and I noticed that the rhythm was kind of going in a boom, 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 boom kind of way. So I was trying to think of a way that I could interpret that. So my lines tended to be a little pointy. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what kind of lines you want to use to interpret that sound, and also what kind of colors. And I also want you to think of why. Why are you choosing those lines and those colors, right? So I just told you why I heard it this way, but you might have heard it a totally different way. So there really is no right or wrong way to do this. All right? So let us try it again. And this time what I want to do is I want to focus our ear on a different instrument that's happening. Okay, so we're going to listen to a little piece of it, and I want you to find another instrument that is drawing your attention, no pun intended, and I want you to weave it into this drawing, okay? If you remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about percussion, and whether you were here with us or not, it's totally okay. I'll explain it again. We talked about the idea of layering, of putting one sound on top of the other. And I use this as an example. I said, this could be one rhythm, and I could put another rhythm over on top of it. And I could match them up like this so that they're just one over the other, or I could move them like this, or interlock them like this, okay? So I could play around with those patterns. And I'm about to do the same exact thing right here. I'm going to pick a different sound that I hear in my recording, and I'm going to pick a different color, and I'm going to layer that over my drawing. All right, so this should be a really fun thing to do. I'm pretty excited. First things first, though, let's listen to a little bit of the recording so we can hear again what some of the sounds are, and then we can make a more informed choice.
Maximum volume.
Those are the notes. One instrument that's catching my ear in particular is the drums. I can hear it. It's going. So I wonder, what would my strokes be like on my drawing? I'm doing this with my hands when I'm imitating it. Hey, you know what? I just thought of a good idea. Maybe I need two markers for this. I think I'm going to use my pink one for one of them and my purple one for the other one. All right, so hopefully you've decided on your sound. Let's get back to our drawing. We're going to add to the drawing, and let's see what it sounds like. Here we go. Let's bring it to the top. right there. I'm having a lot of fun. I love doing stuff like this. I have to say, initially, when you look at it, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, there's a lot of movement in my drawing. Okay, so where do we see the movement? I notice it, like I mentioned before, with my jagged bass lines. I'm also noticing it a little bit with my drum beats here. I'm glad I thought to use 2 markers. I initially was just going to use 1. I wonder what choices you made in terms of the lines that you use, the colors that you use. So if you have some ideas on that, or you have something that you want to share with us, please add it to the comment section. I'd love to see it. Now, the other thing too, sometimes when we start drawings like this, you might feel like, oh, it feels messy. Maybe I messed up and should get rid of it. The messier, the better, okay? Because now our page becomes this amazing adventure for us to try to connect the dots to. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to listen to it one more time. I'm going to listen to it together. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a different color, or if you don't have colors at all, that's okay. Maybe you could use your pen or pencil in a different manner, kind of the same way that I use my markers, and in a way that I had never thought to use, and I just started playing with it this way. And I want you to start filling it out a little bit. I want you to think about some of the empty spaces that you have here, and maybe different ways that you can fill it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my green marker, and I'm going to listen to it again, just a little bit more. And I'm going to see where I can add to fill out the sound. I mean, fill out the drawing or the sound. I think we're doing both, right? Okay, here we go. Listening to it, I hear the guitar a lot. So maybe that's the sound that's going to help me fill it out. Ooh, I'm having a feeling I might want to switch colors soon. Here we go, coming to the end. Well, let's take a look at what we got. I am so curious to see what your drawing looks like, what your interpretation of these sounds look like in your drawing. So I have my bass, which is the brown line. I have my drums, which show the little choppy markings. And I have my guitar, which I use to fill it out. You know, it just occurred to me. In music, we have something called notation. And notation is comprised of the staff and the notes that we put on the staff. This lets us know what tones to play, the actual sounds that you're hearing. And it actually lets us know when to play it and where to play it. So I wonder if somebody gave me a piece of notation that looked like this, what are some ways that I could interpret it? Maybe if you have something that is really filled out that you really like, you could send it to me so I could take a look and try to do an interpretation of it. It's kind of like we'd be doing things backwards. You'd be writing music this way through this very visual kind of way of making a drawing with each stroke or each color representing a certain sound that you want. And then I would play it on my instrument. That might be an interesting way to mess around with things. So I want to do one more thing, okay? I want to play one last piece of music. Whoop, let's put this away. And let me get another piece of tape here. Maybe I should put my hat on. Okay. So I'm going to tape this on to my cajon right now. Cajon is a percussive instrument. Right now I'm using it to hold up my drawing. Little tape goes a long way. I'm going to tape this guy here. Our friend here is going to go in my refrigerator. Maybe I'll finish it later. So we're going to make a totally new drawing, okay? This drawing that we're going to make, I'm going to use a different song for. Actually, maybe we should use the same song. I was going to use a different song because I thought it'd be neat, but now that I'm thinking about it, I've gotten so into the one that we just played, we'll stick with that. We're going to listen to the song that we just listened to previously from beginning to end, and we're going to take all our tools and we are going to try to make a visual interpretation of the song. Each marker, each line will have a different instrument for it. So that's up to you, okay? Use your imagination. There is no right or wrong way to do things here. We're just having a lot of fun. Okay, so here we go. I'll start from the top. And remember, before you start, it's probably pretty good to really listen to the music and internalize it and move your body a little bit. I think it will really help make the drawing really nice. Okay, here we go. Can you guess what instrument I'm listening to right now with the green? I'm not going to tell you. I'm just wondering what your lines look like and what colors you're choosing for these sounds. All right. Well, this is my second drawing. I'll share it with you. I would love to see what you have. I'll put the light here a little bit better. Well, once again, there is no right or wrong way to do this. We're having fun. We're exploring. We're trying different things. Did we play music today? Sort of, we did. Because we started taking the lines and we started taking the colors and the different strokes and interpreting what we were hearing. Now, again, like I said before we started this part of it, if you were to write a song, if you were to use some of the instruments in your house, whether they're pots and pans or even markers like this, your voice, me, 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 how would you write? How would you document your ideas onto a piece of paper to give someone else so they could try to interpret your ideas? Well, I think this is a fine way of doing it. It's a little different than what we're used to, but there's a lot of possibilities there. All right. Well, thank you for spending time with me again. This has been a lot of fun. My name is Damian Quinones. Remember, if you liked what you saw, please share with friends and family and let them know that this is happening. And we will be back with more Lincoln Center classrooms and different artists sharing with you what they know. So please come join us again. All right. Thanks a lot. It was nice seeing you. Take care.